Welcome back to Weems Motor Co. You gonna do this?
Yes.
We're gonna work on your bike?
Yes.
We're gonna do some painting.
Yes.
We're gonna show them how to paint with rattle cans. Stick around. All right, Addie. So I've been asked many times, how do I get a professional paint job with rattle cans? And I figured, what better opportunity than when we're working on your bike? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna do that today. We gotta do some painting. We got your gas tank, your oil tank, and your fender. All that stuff's gotta get painted, but we're gonna have a special surprise at the end, right? With what we're doing with the pink.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are going to be the first people to see what we're gonna do with this paint job. I'm super excited. Never done this before on a motorcycle, so we're doing it on your bike, and it's gonna look killer. All right. But before we begin, these are the items that you're going to need to do this type of work. Let's check them out. So, Addie, I've actually helped you out a little bit here. I went ahead and sanded your tank and prepped it and filled in all the dents and also your rear fender. So all you have to do is this nice little oil tank. This little oil tank came off of a Triumph Cub, which is super cool. But I figured it'd be a great thing for her to do so she can learn and you guys can see how we do this process. It does have a little dent in it. So we're gonna have to fill that dent in, and so we're gonna see the whole process of how I make this happen, and you're gonna learn, girl, how to do it yourself. So next time, I don't have to do it. I'll just make you do it.
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we've already primed this up. We shot it with some what's called 2-in-1 primer. Now I like to use Krylon. This is a high build filler and sandable primer. Just rattle can. Super easy, sprayed it on there because that metal was all the way down, or the oil tank was all the way down to the metal, so I didn't want any kind of rust building up, so we went ahead and just shot the primer on there. So what we're gonna do is have Addie sand this down with some 400 grit sandpaper, and where that little dent is, yeah, we're gonna have to get that all the way down to the metal because Bondo, it's really important that you adhere that to the metal. So in that area, we're gonna sand it back with some 80 grit sandpaper, and she's gonna get ready to fill that little dent in. So with that, Adelaide, you ready to sand?
No.
Well, guess what? You don't have an option. You get to sand. Here we go. Let's sand it off. So good job, Addie. Got it all sanded down with that 400 grit. Feel it. Feel how smooth it is. Yeah, smooth. All except for that little dent right there. All right, so good job. Now we're gonna take some 80 grit sandpaper and we are going to sand all of the paint out of that dent. And what we need to do is about I don't know, about almost an inch all the way around that. We need to get it down to the metal. Can you do it, girl? You can do it?
Yeah.
Tell everybody out there that you can do it.
You can do it.
No, that you can do it.
You can do it.
No, you as in Addie can do it.
Addie can do it.
Addie can do it. Right here. So, good job. Yeah, she did a great job. 80 grit sandpaper works pretty quickly getting that that thin layer of primer filler out there. So let's show the people what it looks like now with no paint inside the dent. Yeah, girl, nailing it. Awesome. So now we need to take some filler. There's many different brands. Some people just call it Bondo because that's one brand, but it's actually called body filler. And we have some that's fast dry filler. It only takes about 15 minutes for this to harden up. So we're gonna mix this up and we're gonna apply some into that little dent so that we can say bye-bye dent. Say it.
Bye-bye dent.
Let's get that dent off of there. Alright, so after about 20-25 minutes of letting that dry, we now have a filled in dent. Now, obviously, Addie, we don't want to leave it looking like that because it's not smooth at all, right?
No.
So how do we make things smooth?
Sanding.
Sanding, your favorite thing in the world to do, right?
No.
So we're gonna take that same 80 grit, we're gonna knock down the high parts of it, then we'll transition into a 180 grit and smooth and feather out those edges so it blends and sits in real nice and neat right with the rest of the oil tank. Once we get that done, then we're gonna hit it with 400 grit, and then at that point we could reapply primer and let it sit and dry. Let's do it, Addie. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, 80 grit, let's go. Not bad, 80 grit, knock down those high portions. Now we're going to go to 180 grit and smooth that out even better. You ready?
Yes.
What are we doing?
We're taking the 180 grit and smoothing it out better.
Yeah, but what's that called?
Sanding.
Let's do it. Doing a killer job. Boom. Now, the last portion of this is we're just gonna final feather out those edges all the way down to that 400 grit sandpaper.
Yeah.
Not gonna take a lot of pressure on this one. Should be nice and easy, and just kind of feather those edges so everything blends nice and smooth.
Okay.
Sand away, girl. Too easy, right? All right, so now that we have that nice dent all smoothed out and made pretty, we have exposed raw metal once more. We don't like raw metal because it can rust. So we need to take this and we're gonna wipe it down with some isopropyl alcohol so we get all that dust, all that buildup that we've put on there. And then we're gonna take this out back and then we're gonna shoot it with some primer. And then kind of start the whole process over, but we don't have to fill a dent this time.
Nope.
Super easy. Let's wipe it down, get it out back, paint it up. So not bad, girl, right there, boom. She's had some practice doing some paint. She knows what she's doing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this stuff dry overnight and we'll get back to this tomorrow so that we know that that primer is nice and dry and adhered to that bare metal. Cool?
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, so here we are, next day, and wouldn't you know, as always, things tend to go issues. Addie wakes up this morning and she has pink eye, yeah, conjunctivitis, and so I felt it best not to get her out here and get her around sanding and all that stuff, so to just let her take her time this morning, take it easy. So I did go ahead and knock out the tank and the fender, got those sanded down with 600 grit sandpaper. We still got the little oil tank. We're gonna sand that down. We'll get some base paint on there, let that get nice and set. and then we can go on to the clear coat process. But we're going to make sure that we keep her involved in this process. So that special little secret with the pink at the end, you guys are going to see her getting her hands dirty. In the meantime, you might notice this big monstrosity right here behind me. That's the new Weems Motor Co. mode of transportation, and you guys want to help me out with something. So I've been thinking about doing a build series on how we're going to build this into a moto van, which is like a van that'll haul a motorcycle, and you could actually camp inside of it. So if you are interested in seeing some footage, some content, something on doing this 2019 Chevy Express van, jump down in the comments and let us know that. Until then, let's get back to work sanding. Alright, so now we got it sanded down, got it wiped down with that isopropyl alcohol to get all that dust and everything off. We got them hung up here, ready to go at it. Like I said, the most important thing when you're doing any paint job, especially rattle can, because it's kind of unforgiving, is the prep work. Now, we got all the prep work done, got it sanded down with that 600 fine grit sandpaper, and we're ready to start throwing some base color at it. Now, I don't skim when it comes to paint. I can skim when it comes to some primers and stuff like that, but when it comes to doing this final phases, I make sure that I get the best stuff that's out there on the market. And I always use automotive grade touch-up paint. Now this particular one is by AC Delco. It's a smaller rattle can. Most of them are gonna be, and they're not cheap. At the end of the day, you might be saving a little bit of money doing it yourself, but you know, if you're really looking for that professional paint job, reach out to somebody that does it. Somebody like Meltbone, he'll hook you up. He'll get you hooked up with that amazing paint, but we're showing you the easy way to do it. So first thing we're gonna do is make sure the temperature and the weather is good, because you don't want to get rained on when this process begins. So we've done that. It's about 79 degrees out here, relative humidity. So I think it's gonna be a great day to do this. I'm just gonna keep an eye on those clouds up there, make sure nothing dark starts lingering around and wants to sprinkle down on us. But it looks like it's going to be a good time. So let's get some base coat sprayed on these parts. All right, so you're probably asking yourself, Weems, you're doing a horrible job doing that paint. There's a lot of blotchiness to it. Well, it's a process, people. You don't want to go on and cake all that paint on right at the beginning. You want to fog the pieces first so that it gives a place for the paint to adhere to. So you just fog it a little bit like we just did. It's going to look a little blotchy and stuff, and then we'll go in and start layering that paint on. So another thing you might be asking yourself is, why does it look so dull? Well, with the automotive grade touch-up paint, it's always going to come out in a matte finish or possibly semi-gloss. But you get the shine from your clear coat that goes on at the end of the process, so it is going to look kind of flat as far as the paint process goes. So let's go ahead and throw on a few more of these coats, get it thickened up, and then we'll let it sit for a little while, cure, and then we'll add on that really special clear coat. Stick around. And the inspector is here to check out the work. What do you think? Black? Pretty cool, right? It's not shiny yet because we haven't put on the clear coat, but 4 cans of base coat I think came out great. Poor girl, she's recovering from her pink eye, so she's gonna be here for that pink part. Yes. Not pink eye. We're not sharing pink eye. We're gonna show the pink on the tank, the oil tank, and the fenders. So I think it's going great so far. Next process, clear coat. All right, so here we go. Got the base coats done. Everything looks beautiful. Normally, Most people would do wet sand in between base coats, but we got a pretty smooth surface, so I'm not too worried about it. Now it's time for the secret sauce. Now, this is rattle can clear coat, but this is what's called 2K clear coat. It has a hardener built into it, and you basically take that little red cap, insert it into the bottom, shake it up, and it works amazing. It's fuel resistant, does exactly the same as any standard clear coat would be, but it's all right there in a rattle can. Now this stuff is expensive, so you know, be generous with it. Get a few cans. You want to make sure you got good layers of clear coat whenever you're doing paint jobs. So I've got like 4 cans of this. Like I said, it's not cheap, but it's gonna do the job, and you guys get to see how a rattle can paint job can come out amazing. So we shake it up for 2 minutes, we pop that thing off, insert it in the bottom, shake it for another 2 minutes, and then we apply some coats. Let's get it going. So something really important to note on this type of clear coat, it's got some really bad stuff in it, so you should be wearing a respirator when you do it. Let's get it going. Oh yeah.
A few moments later.
All right, Addie, we got it. We got the paint work done. Your oil tank came out super amazing. Ooh, look, you can see the camera and the reflection. What do you think?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful and black, but we're missing something, right? What are we missing? We're missing the pink. Check this out, people. So, as we were talking about how to do the pink on this bike, we were wanting it to be really shiny and sparkly, right? Mm-hmm. So Addie had the amazing idea. She's like, well, what if we bejewel it? Bedazzle this thing. And I was like, huh, never seen that done before on a motorcycle. So I said, why not? Let's try it. And we found this super cool stuff online. It's got an adhesive back. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna let Addie put the pink on the bike right here on the side of the oil tank. So we've taped it off. All she has to do is stick it right in the middle of that, and then Addie, you get to stick the oil tank on the bike, and we can show them the other parts. Mm-hmm. Ready? You ready?
Yes.
You excited? Is it sparkly and pink enough for you?
Yes.
How sparkly and pink is it?
Very.
Show them again. Right up to the camera. Ooh, sparkly. All right, let's stick this on here, Addie. All right, girl, I say that is beautiful. One last thing. Let's go put it on the bike. There you go. Let's do it. Well, what do you think, girl?
It's beautiful.
Now, as you guys noticed, I already got the tank on there, the rear fender, and we are about to wrap this bike up because this girl is going to be on the news. The Tampa Bay News is coming by to interview Addie because she built her first motorcycle. How cool is that?
Cool.
Super cool, right? And we are unveiling this motorcycle this weekend at the Orange County Choppers Invitational with none other than Paul Tuttle Sr. himself. So make sure that you guys check out all that stuff on our Instagram page. Head over to our website, buy some merch. We got new hats, we got shirts in all sizes. So make sure you grab some of that stuff. And make sure that you're tracking what's going on with this bike, because the next video on Addie's bike, we'll be starting it and she will be riding it for the very first time. So super excited. Awesome. Well, that's gonna wrap up today's video, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you are new around here, jump down and hit that subscribe button. If you really like the video, hit that thumbs up, turn those notifications on, and let everyone know what's going on right here
At Weems Motorco.
Peace!